Good morning, all of you. Today we'll discuss the topic steps in setting up an enterprise. So, before going to start an enterprise or any business, what are the steps you have to follow? The first step is project selection. Here in this case, we are going to decide what type of product or what type of project they have to start. So here, regarding this, the success of a business largely depends upon its projects or products. The products to be selected for a long time to come satisfies consumers' requirements. The product selected should match the changes in environment, technology, and generation. Product selection can be done through any one of the following methods. So generally we'll select the project by selecting some of the methods. The first one is market survey for existing projects, information from small scale industries and district industries cooperatives. So market information, a market. So a market survey for existing products. First, we have to do the survey regarding the market of the existing projects. A market survey is conducted to estimate local demand within state or country. Export market and future prospectus for existing products and services by visiting to wholesale and retail markets, bulk consumers, etc. by an entrepreneur. This study will give a clear idea about product demand, consumption, and availability pattern. If there is a gap in demand and supply, the activity considered ideal for selection. And we can also gather the information from different industries and different cooperative and different development centers. So the entrepreneurs can approach them for the project selection. And then next step is technology and machinery. So here we should the entrepreneur who is going to start the business, he must know what type of technology he has to use regarding the business, whether in the in that particular where whether they are going to use such certain technology or not, and uh, and how far this technology can be used, and to use the technology, what are the machines can be used. Like that, here he should do the survey regarding the technology which is going to use in the market. The next one is arranging finance. So according to that, he has to arrange the or he has to gather the capital to accommodate all the resources of the business. And next one is unit development. After arranging the capital, then he has to develop the units. That is some different units. He has to develop the raw materials and he has to procure the raw materials. He has to procure the machines, tools. He has to buy the land. Like the different materials which are going to use in the enterprise, he has to develop it. And then filling of entrepreneurs memorandum. So before going to start any business, he has to apply to the government and he has to take the permission from the government. And from that, after applying that, if there is no grievance or if there is no grievance from the government, and if the government approves that business, then there is no, then he can start the business without any obstacle. So there is clearance. He has got the clearance from the government, and after that, after then he has to check the quality of the manufactured products in his enterprise, and based upon the quality, he has to give the certificate. Some some institutions or organizations are going to check the quality, and based upon the quality of the goods which she has given, and they are going to be certified, and according to that, that goods are going to release in the market. So first here, so there are some steps that can take to help develop some business ideas and start the business of our own. So first thing is to know yourself. It is often necessary to access yourself before you can access the potential of your business area. Do you know who will buy your product or service? What benefits does the product or service offer to them? And how much would they be willing to pay? So we have to use our experience to realize your business idea. So trying to come up with a business idea, try our idea generation workshop. So first we have to analyze whether we are a risk taker. So starting a new business can be an exciting and challenging time. However, it can also be a period of uncertainty and risk. For some, it can mean risking their life savings, secure employment, and family security. Are you fully prepared for this? Like that, we have to question ourselves. And then third step, market research. So market research is essential in helping you to identify your target market and getting to know your potential customers. Conducting market research will also help you to identify who your competitors are and how to compete effectively in a given market. So research is also effective in accessing demand for a new product or service. Okay? And then the next step we have to examine our business requirement. What are the requirements of our business? First thing is we have to consider the best location for the business, identify basic equipment requirement and cost, and you need to whether we need to employ any staff or more people required in the enterprise. And we have to identify the insurance requirements. And after this, then we have to calculate investment requirements. Identify all startup costs associated with the business. Identify ways of financing our business venture. Seek financial support and benefit from direct referral to government supports. So we have to become aware of all financial supports we offer. And then develop your marketing strategy. So marketing your enterprise is a fundamental aspect of starting up. So the research the most cost effective methods of marketing your business. Write your marketing plan. Attend one of your marketing workshops. Then next one is developing your sales plan. Having access to your business idea, estimate your selling price. How will you promote the enterprise? Who or where is your target market? Local, national, international. What channels of distribution will be used? Determine the break-even point. And then decide on an appropriate legal business structure. It is important to research the types of business ownership to help you make the best decisions for your business. You can choose whether you want a sole trader, partnership, or limited company. We can help steer your business from the beginning. Be aware of next one is be aware of legal obligations that will affect your business. So register your business name. There is approval. You have to file the entrepreneur's memorandum. So register your business name with the company's registration office for further information. You will need to understand your sorry. You will need to understand your tax obligations and register as self-employed with your local revenue office. You will need to be aware of your statutory obligations such as trading license, planning permission, insurance, health and safety, patents. And then at last, write your business plan. Business planning is fundamental to success in business. It is the key to making things happen and reaching goals. A business plan can be used as an operating tool that will help you to make important decisions and manage your business effectively. The business plan also has a number of other uses. So these are the various steps which we have to follow while we are going to set up an enterprise or business. Once you overlook this slide, so here also some of the steps we have given to start an SSI or small scale industry. So decide what products or services your small business will offer. First, you have to decide what type of products your business entity is going to provide, and then know your market and your competition, and then make a business plan. Choose a business structure, that is a sole proprietorship, partnership, or some joint stock company, like that, many things. Finding funding means you have to gather the investment. You have to gather the capital which is required to gather all the resources of the business. Then name your business. You have to name your business. Then you have to set up your website. Okay. And we have to then next one is partner with the great people so that we can learn more things regarding business. Brand and market yourself. You have to advertise your products in the market and make a lead. Once you once you go through this point once again. So decision we have to before going to start this we have to decide means the decision should be taken by the entrepreneur who is going to start the business. So decision to be self-employed. This is a crucial decision. This is the most crucial decision a person has to take, shunning wage employment and opting for self-employment or entrepreneurship. You should know the advantages and risks of entrepreneurship. And then, meanwhile, he also has to analyze the strengths as well as weaknesses. The potential entrepreneur has to analyze his strength, weakness by deciding to go for entrepreneur career. This analysis enables him to know what type and size of business would be the most suitable. The strengths and weaknesses will vary from person to person. And next one is you have to know your market means you have to scan the business environment. It's always essential on the part of an entrepreneur. It's always an essential part on the and sorry, it's always essential on the part of an entrepreneur to study and understand the prevailing business environment in which they operate, particularly the industrial policy, economic policy, licensing policy, legal environment, technical environment, and above all the markets. In order to ensure success of his enterprise, the entrepreneur should scan the business opportunities and threats in the environment. You should study the administrative framework, procedures, policies, rules and regulations and other formalities implemented by the government. And you have to check is there any availability of his own money, that is finding funding. No business, no business can be created with zero capital. The own money concept means the funds available with an entrepreneur from his own source or family or friends. The size of the unit depends upon the availability of own money in short term and long term. And then training. The person should undergo training for developing skills for entrepreneurship and developing technical, conceptual, and managerial skills. Before going to start the enterprise, the potential entrepreneur must access his own deficiencies, which he can compensate through training. He can attend the entrepreneurial development programs conducted by the institutes like SSI, SBI, DIC, etc. These institutes are providing tailor-made entrepreneurship development programs and skill upgradation training programs for the benefit of the new entrepreneurs. Existing entrepreneurs for the employees of the small-scale industries. And then, as usual, we had to select the product, and then we had to do the market survey, selection of the form of business structure, and we have to choose the location. So in this case, we have to decide the location where the unit is to be established. Will it be hired or owned? The size of plot covered and open area and the exact site will have to be decided. Decision about the location of unit is very important. Location determines the success or failure of the enterprise. Location is selected after considering such factors such as nearness to market, source of material and labor, modern infrastructural facilities, etc. And then next top point is technology. To manufacture any item, technology is used. Information on all available technology should be collected by the entrepreneur and most suitable one should be identified. This will also be useful to determine the type of machinery and equipment to be installed. Many institutions of government like DIC and TC, etc., research laboratories, R&D, divisions of big industries and certain consultancy agencies provide the manufacturing know-how. And next one is you have to choose the machinery and equipment. So after choosing the technology, the machinery and equipment required for manufacturing have been selected and they have to decided which have to be used. Suppliers have to be identified and their costs have to be estimated. One may have to plan well in advance for machinery and equipment, especially if it has to be procured from outside the town, state or country. Preparation of project report. So after deciding the form of ownership, location, technology for manufacturing, machinery and equipment, the entrepreneur should be ready to prepare his project report or the feasibility study. The economic viability and the technical feasibility of the product selected have to be established through a project report. A project report that may now be prepared will be helpful in formulating the production, marketing, financial, and management plans. It will also be useful in obtaining finance, shared power connection, water connection, raw material quotas, etc. The entrepreneur has to consider the guidelines given by the Planning Commission in preparing the project report. The project report should indicate the vision of the promoter and short-term and long-term aspects of the project implementation. Then project appraisal. Project appraisal means the assessment of a project. It is a technique for ex-ante analysis of a scheme or project while preparing to set up an enterprise. The entrepreneur has to carefully appraise the project from the standpoint of economic, financial, technical, market, social, and managerial aspects to arrive at the most social feasible enterprise. To avail the finance from the bank, And financial institutions, a comprehensive appraisal of projects carrying technology should be undertaken by the entrepreneur. So, thus the project which is selected should be technically feasible and economically viable, and then only it will be bankable. For this, the following appraisals can be performed at the preliminary level: economic appraisal, financial appraisal, technical appraisal, management appraisal, organizational appraisal, operational appraisal, market appraisal. And regarding finance, wait, okay. Finance is the lifeblood of enterprise. Entrepreneur has to take certain steps and follow specified norms of the financial institutions and banks to obtain money or finance. A number of financial agencies provide capital assistance and venture capital for starting an enterprise. There are some agencies which provide financial assistance on concessional rates under Pradhan Mantri Rajiv Yojana and REGP schemes. Sorry, Pradhan Mantri Yozgar Yojana scheme. Financial assistance and subsidies are being provided to the persons who want to set up their own enterprise, which obviates the need for margin money. Provisional registration, it's always worthwhile to get the unit registered with the government. The entrepreneur has to obtain the prescribed application form for provisional registration from DIC and Directorate of Industries. After having duly filled in the application form, he has to he has to submit the application with all relevant documents in the local district of industries, Directorate of Industries. This will enable the entrepreneur to avail various government facilities, assistance and incentives schemes including financial assistance from NSIC, SFCs, KVIC, etc. Then regarding technical know-how, in some cases technical know-how may be arranged for setting up the enterprises. This can be arranged through TCOs, NSICs, like many private consultants, foreign collaborators, Indian investment center and industry, etc. Power and water connection. So the sites where the enterprise will be located should either have adequate power connections or this should be arranged. The entrepreneur can calculate the total power requirement and determine the nearest pole from which power will be given to the enterprise, as it can materially affect the installation cost. There are two categories of power, namely low tension and high tension. A consumer can avail low tension only if the connected load is 75 horsepower and below. If the connected load is between 75 horsepower and 130 horsepower, the consumer has the option to avail either LD supply or HD supply. Most of the SSI units fall under the low tension category. So high tension power supply may mean additional investment in transformer and substation. So most states need a no objection certificate from the concerned pollution control authorities before the power connection. Similarly, the water connection will have to be obtained or provision should be made for adequate water supply to the farm. And after getting this, then installation of machinery. Having completed the above formalities, the next step is to procure machinery and begin its installation as per the planned layout. Then it is necessary insurance. It is necessary to have an adequate insurance for the fixed assets as this at this stage and later on for the current assets as well. Requirement of manpower. So once machines are installed, the need for manpower should be analyzed. So the quantum and type of manpower, skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled, administrative, etc. used to be decided. The sources of getting desired labor are also important. This follows the recruitment, training, and placement. And then after getting the manpower, then you have to procure the raw materials. Raw materials are important ingredients for running an enterprise. The labor will require raw materials to work upon the installed machinery. These materials may be procured indigenously or may have to be imported by the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur has to identify the cheap and assured source of supply of raw materials for running its own enterprise. Government agencies can assist in the case the raw materials are scarce or imported. Then production. The unit established should have an organizational setup to operate optimally. The organization should employ its manpower, machinery, and methods effectively. There should not be any wastage of manpower, machinery, and materials. If items are exported, then the product and its packaging must be attractive. Production of the proposed item should be taken up in two stages. First one is trial production, second one is commercial production. So trial production will help tackling problems confronted in production and test the marketing of the product. This will reduce the chances of loss in the eventually of mistakes in product conception. Commercial production should be commenced only after the successfully launching the product at the test marketing stage. And next one here, after production, then you have to start the marketing. So marketing is the most important activity as far as the entrepreneurial development is concerned. Various aspects like how to reach the customer, distribution channels, commission structure, pricing, advertising, publicity, etc. have to be decided by the entrepreneur. Like production, marketing should also be attempted cautiously. That is in two stages: test stage, commercial marketing stage. Test marketing is necessary to save the enterprise from going into disrepute in the case of product launched is not well accepted by the customer. It will also assist the entrepreneur in carrying out the modifications or additions in design and features of the product. Having successfully test marketed the product commercially, marketing can be undertaken. The entrepreneur can contact the small industries marketing corporation. Then quality assurance. Before marketing, the product quality certification from BS, that is Bureau of Indian Standard, Mark, Hallmark, etc., should be obtained depending upon the product. If there is no quality standard specified for the products, the entrepreneur should evolve his own quality control parameters. After all, quality ensures long-term success. And then permanent registration. After the small scale unit goes into production and marketing, it becomes eligible to get permanent registration based on its provisional registration from DIC or Directorate of Industries. Next one is market research. Once the product or service is introduced in the market, there is strong need to continuous market research to access needs and areas for modification, upgradation, and growth. Market becomes the Waterloo for most SSI entrepreneurs, as they ignore this vital function. Initial success should not lure the entrepreneur into a sense of complacency. And then monitoring. Okay, periodical monitoring and evaluation not only the markets but also production quality and profitability helps in knowing where the firm stand in comparison to performance envisaged in the business plan. It, it also identifies direction of future growth. So with this topic is covered. And then startup company. What is a startup? So once we go through this point, so startup includes the ideas, planning, teamwork, investment, trends, resources, strategies. So like that, many things we are going to see here. Let me tell what is it. Let me tell the definition. So a startup or startup is a company or project initiated by an entrepreneur to seek effective development and validate a scalable business model. While entrepreneur, while entrepreneurship refers to all new businesses, including self-employment and businesses that never intend to become registered, startups refer to the new businesses that intend to grow large beyond the solo founder. Startups face high uncertainty and have high rates of failure, but a minority of them go minority of them do go on to be successful and influential. Some startups become unicorns, that is, privately held startup companies valued at over $1 billions. So, what are the different phases of the startup? Once you all of you go through this slide, so generally, a startup is nothing but a young company founded by one or more entrepreneurs to develop a unique product or service and bring it to the market. By its nature, the typical startup tends to be a shoestring operation with initial funding from the founders of their friends' families. So, generally, you are going to have different types of startups. For example, lifestyle startups, small business startups, lifestyle startups, you are going to have self-employed folks, small business startups feeding the family, scalable startups born to be big, viable startups born to be bought, large company startups innovate or die, social startups mission difference. So here uh, you are going to have some characteristics of these startups. So they have product market fit. Selling a product or service customers actually want is important. They start with small test markets. They are passionate about disruption. They foster awesome company cultures. They take feedback seriously. They have focus. They build engaged communities. So these startups are nothing but they come up with a new zeal and they are going to have high concentration in the business activities. So let me tell some characteristics of successful startups. Okay, so here we have seen some the they have product market fit means selling a product or service customers actually want is important. The market must be willing and able to pay for what you are selling. Seems straightforward and obvious, yet many startups struggle with defining their product market fit. Okay, then they start with small test markets. Conversely, just because you have found that your market or product or service is appealing to a large market doesn't mean you should tackle it all. At least not to begin with. The big mistake you can make as a young startup is going after a giant market from the get-go. That signifies that you haven't defined categories correctly and you are going to be dealing with too much competition in one way or another. A classic tech example of starting with a small market is Facebook. Uh, you already know that Mark Zuckerberg infamously launched a site at Harvard, followed by a handful of other Ivy League universities. Later, the platform opened its doors to anyone in the country with a edu email address. Long before Facebook took over the world, the company was constantly innovating and adjusting to feedback. They are passionate about disruption. So successful startups are based on disruptive ideas. That means more than a buzzword, disruption is changing the status quo in an existing marketplace. The phrase disruptive technologies was coined by Harvard Business School professor Clayton Christensen. Disruptive technology creates new market and value networks that eventually displace more established ones. Thus, the driving factor of a successful startup is more than someone wanting to be their own boss, it's someone envisioning a new normal for their target market. It's that passion that pulls them forward in the face of existing competitors, industry standards, and norms. Of course, what eventually makes an idea disruptive is debatable. Generally, it's something that is simultaneously irritating someone, your competitors, while delighting someone else, your customers. They foster awesome company cultures. Within a company's first 2 years, 50 to 60% of their employees will profitably quit, according to Forbes contributor Canada Bush, their reason for quitting. It usually comes down to poor management, which directly correlates with culture. Traditionally speaking, a culture is nothing more than a set of beliefs shared by a community. Therefore, an office culture is essentially made up of the assumptions held by management about how and why work is done. Who are we as a business and as an individual? What do we believe in stand for? How close should we be with our co-workers? Should dogs be allowed at work? The answers to questions like this ultimately determine the culture of your startup. With the constant pressure to speed up product development and customer acquisition, it's no wonder so many founders neglect culture. Cultivating a strong culture ultimately begins with clarifying your values as a company and then infusing those values into everything from office policies to environment. It's for this reason many founders choose shared tech workspaces over traditional office settings with limited time and resources. Infusing users within the kind of culture you want to replicate is a start move. They'll take the feedback. They'll take feedback very seriously. Another quality of successful startups is their ability to adjust to feedback. Whether the feedback comes from the investors, advisors, mentors, or customers, successful startups extract value from feedback to help improve their product, service, or business model. Ultimately, it's a balancing act of knowing when to pivot and when to hold your ground. Mainly, they have the focus. When starting from the ground up, especially with a small team, it's easy to take on too many projects at once. Unfortunately, this can kill your startup. They build the engaged communities. Finally, the most successful startups think beyond customer acquisition and work toward community building. Unable to rely on decades of brand loyalty like their established counterparts, they roll up their sleeves and engage their target markets. Great example of community building can be found at Product Hunt. The startup's massive online following came from the company's founder personally, engaging with their users on Twitter and inviting them to join the Product Hunt community when their products appeared on the site. Luckily, there are many different forums for building engaged communities today. Social media platforms, online forums, and messaging apps like Slack are all convenient tools for directly engaging with prospectors. The challenging part, how to get people interested in the first place. What is ultimately comes down to is knowing what your market most values and facilitating a conversation around those values. How do you figure out what your market values are? So, become a success story. While there is no one size fits all blueprint for building a successful startup, adopting the previously mentioned characteristics will provide a solid foundation. Are you currently embodying all seven of them? If so, pat yourself on the back and get back to work. If not, determine your biggest opportunity for improvement. Schedule some time to revisit that area on your calendar and get back to work. Are you the founder of a tech startup with a minimum viable product looking to disrupt the marketplace? So these are the some of the startup successful startup company features and tips. And the next session will discuss what are the different phases of the startup development. So you are going to have the pre-startup, startup, and growth. Three phases: ideation, concepting, commitment, validation, scaling, establishing. Startup development phases. Once you look over this slide, once all of you go through this slide, So strategy is nothing but a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim, or is the art of planning and directing overall military operations and movements in a war or battle. And regarding trends, a general direction in which something is developing or changing. The startup has to plan in such a way that at present what is going on in the market, how the customers are going to attract and to what products they are going to uh, direct it. Like that, we have to analyze the market, or we have to analyze the marketing conditions, and then according to trending situation, then you have to take up a project. So strategies, you are going to have five visions. They stand for plan, pattern, position, perspective, and plot. These five components allow an organization to implement a more effective strategy. So we are going to have different stages. First one is vision, minimum viable product, product market fit, scale. So in the first case, it is pre-startup, before going to start. Potential scalable product, service, idea for big enough target marketing. Some initial revenue models for how it would make money. One person or only big team, no confirmed commitment. Like the different analysis has to take before going to start the startup. You have to decide what is the size of your business, how much capital you can able to arrange, and what type of organization structure you are going to use. Like the different things you have to decide in the ideation part. And next, concepting. Having clear and meaningful targets with clear direction for minimum 3 years with milestones to get there. Having teams of two or more core founding people with balanced ownership can also already have some extended team with the lighter commitment, stock options. So in concepting, you must know a clear idea regarding the market, and you have to make a team with two or more people who are going to have full knowledge regarding the business. So remaining topics, remaining points of this startup development phases, I will start in the next. I will discuss this in the next session. Now I'm going to stop my presentation. Thank you one and all.